Alright, welcome. I've got a quick tie for you today. We have a guacamole stick. This is a pattern usually I've only found in Middle Tennessee. It's great on tailwaters. It's a trout killer. So it's a quick tie. Let's get one tied up. Super durable fly. It looks very buggy in the water. It's not like a traditional woolly bugger. You'll see when we tie it up. Alright. Alright, so in the vise, I'm going to go ahead and load up a size 8 fulling mill. And this is a 5105 competition heavyweight black nickel. If you want, any size 8 will work. You can tie this all the way down from 6 to a 12. I've tied them in 12 with good luck. Let's get started here. I've got some UTC 60, and I'm going to go ahead and dress the hook. This is an olive green. You can use black, whatever works. You are going to see a little bit of this thread on the collar, so it's best just to match. The bead, I've got a green slotted tungsten bead. You can use black, gold, whatever. Green works best here in Tennessee. In your state it may be different. Alright, so this hook does not have a barb. I'm using a barbless hook. So I'm a catch and release guy most of the time. So we're going to tie that thread back and right where a barb should be. Maybe an 1/8 inch past the hook point. Alright, for our tail, we're using some olive barred brown marabou by Montana Fly Company. And we're just going to pull this back. It's not a very bushy tail. This is a very buggy fly. It's basically a Chanel-less woolly bugger with a pretty sparse tail. So we're going to measure that back. We're going to get right at the full hook shank length. That's including the bead. We're just going to secure that down to the head. You want to keep your materials from spinning here because you want a nice smooth body, because we're going to wrap this body with some nylon floss. Trim that back. So this is just a 4-strand nylon floss by Danville. We're going to use all 4 strands. I'm going to go ahead and snip off a section. And I'll tie that in on your side so you can see it. I'm just going to get it started. A couple loose wraps. Pull it back to where the thread just sucks in, or the floss sucks in just behind the bead. And then go ahead and wrap it back. And once I get close to the tail, I want to kind of let this go under the body, and then we're going to put it on our material clip. Okay. Next up, we're going to rib it with some monofilament, and this is 006 in smoke, and I've got it just on a bobbin. We're actually going to take it off the bobbin. I'm going to tie this in on my side. We're going to do it the same way we did the floss, couple loose turns. Get it to where it just sucks up just behind the bead. And lay it down. So the nylon monofilament is just a little bit more durable than wire. So if you get a brown trout on this, it won't rip your fly apart, and keep fishing it. Next up, I have some peacock herl, and this is just strung peacock herl. Tail feather works better, but this stuff is super cheap. We're just going to lash this in, and the barbs are going to go towards the tail end of our fly. So you want to, you can do it one at a time or two at a time. I'll do one at a time for demonstration. I'm going to tie in one on my side, kind of towards the top. Cord our thread back up. So we're going to tie that in just on my side here. Couple turns. We're going to pull that butt section back. Don't cut that off yet. You're going to need that. Take our next one, and you can tie these in long. Just make sure those barbs are pointing towards the tail. Once you get that lashed in, go ahead and tie your butt section back. This just makes it easier for the next step. So we're going to bring our tie-in thread forward. Just behind the bead. I'm going to give that a quick 2-turn whip finish. You can do a half hitch. My fingers are fat, so I prefer the whip finish tool. Next, real simple, you're going to take this, everything wraps the same way. You're going to go over the top of the body. Get your floss kind of flattened out. You want to do nice touching turns, and all you're looking to do here is smooth out the body. It's pretty good. Bring back up your tying thread and just catch that. 2 turns behind, a couple in front. Bring in your scissors and just snip it off close to the bead. Got some errant fibers here. Alright, next step. Bring over your peacock herl one side. Couple turns. I'm going to bring your side over. Couple turns behind. We'll go ahead and lock these in. Keep your thread tight. Go ahead and just pull those off. Next up, we're going to take a brown hackle, and I'm just using, this is actually an old rump that I actually got on eBay, just a rump cape, and I believe it's supplied by, Whiting Farms. So we're going to strip this back. We're going to have a nice end section like this. And just make sure if you do buy a used hackle, just bend it. Make sure it doesn't crack when you go to tie it in, otherwise it'll just snap right off. So we're going to tie this up in shiny side forward. And I'm just going to put a wrap over the top. And a wrap behind. One more in front. We'll just snip off that little bit of butt section. Alright, get that cut down. This is probably the toughest part of this fly, is just wrapping your hackle. But you'll notice we tied it in front, that way we can keep that same wrap. That way nothing's ever loosening, it's always tightening. So I got a pair of hackle pliers here and I'm just going to attach these. You can do it by hand. My fingers are fat and I always break them. So having a good set of hackle pliers definitely comes in handy. So we're going to do a good turn and a half at the head. And then we're going to make fairly wide. Oh, there it goes. We're going to make fairly wide turns once we get the 2 wraps at the head back towards the tail section. There's one. And if you have a rotary vise, now's the time to do it, but I'm just showing you can do it without a rotary. And watch that hook point, because it will just snap your hackle. So I've got maybe 3.5, 4 turns on that. And then I'm catching this with just this monofilament. So we're going to snag that hackle. We're going to take off our hackle plier. We're going to just wrap this forward. Quick as you can. And that adds a ton of durability to this fly. Couple turns behind, couple turns in front, and we're just going to tie up a little collar right behind that bead. This will just help push those front hackle fibers just to the back. Good whip finish. That was a 4 turn, I believe. Tighten up your knot. Come in here. Just take your scissor. I'll show you on this mono. Take your scissor if you're scared to cut hackle fibers. And just run the tips down towards the mono. Get it to the bottom body of your fly. And just give it a little push inward. It should snip right off. Now we got this little piece of hackle to contend with, and we're going to do that the same way. Just get our scissors, run in, give it a little push, should come right off. Next up we have the 2 pieces of peacock herl for our tail. We're just going to pull those just a little bit longer than the tail and snip those clean. Then we're just going to finish up with a little bit of head cement. Let that soak in nice and good. Nice and good. Let that soak in until it's all absorbed. And that's it. That is a buggy little fly, and in the water it doesn't look like a fish. It looks like a submerged bug. And trout, bass, panfish just love it. They'll eat it up. Never seen it anywhere else. You can find it here in Tennessee at a few fly shops. They normally don't have the mottled tail. That's something I added in. I just think it looks better than the green one, the straight green one. Here's one that's straight green. This is just olive. Here's another one with black peacock. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, share. I'd appreciate it. Help me out. Have a good one. Now, if you like that video, coming soon, I've got the Beast Junior coming up. Super swimmy bait. Great for striper.